I'm hoping that what people walk away from this talk is really the understanding of what's available to them. Microsoft offers a broad platform with many pieces and components, but seeing how a solution comes together, I hope excites people and gets them to really want to build a platform of their own, either as something that they're going to resell to others, so a solution that they will resell, or something that they integrate into their applications to make really engaging applications, as you can see with the face APIs or the predictive analytics capabilities. If you add these to your application, it adds some extra excitement to the application, something novel, something new that will really hopefully catch their customers' interest. So for Power BI, we'll start with the connected car dashboard and just show you how you can pin things to the dashboard, how you deal with reports, and then we'll bring in a data set and we'll just play with it a little bit, and I'll show you how you can also add in new visualizations. All right. My name is Vivek Gupta. My position is Senior Data Scientist at Microsoft. So my job at Microsoft is really about helping customers understand how they can use the Cortana Intelligence Suite in order to solve business problems. So really help them see what all the components are, how they fit together, and then actually produce a solution that's made for their industry. So starting here, this is the simple version of a dashboard. It doesn't have a lot of visualizations in it currently, but you can see the basics. You've got these gauges, you've got bar charts, maps, and one of the interesting things in Power BI is the ability to do things that you don't see there because it's tied directly to the data model. So you see this ask a question. I wonder, what is ask a question, right? What type of question can you ask? And it's really taking some sort of natural language processing with some understanding of the schema. These are all the different tables or values that are associated with the schema. So I can actually say something like, I want the average miles per gallon by model, by city, and it will sort of work this out if I have miles per gallon in this one. How about average speed? That's right, that's a different data set. Average speed by model, by city. So I can ask for this type of data, and depending on the average speed, if I said average speed by city as a line chart. Okay? So once I create this new visualization, and this is from the data directly, from the model of the data, I can actually take and pin this visual back to the dashboard. So now I've customized my dashboard to have something that wasn't actually available there before. So that's one way your users can continue to explore the data in Power BI independent of directly going and querying the data from the database. All right? So we have a couple levels, right? There's a dashboard. If I click on a dashboard, I actually dive into a report. So typically what you'll do is you'll create a report and pin parts of that report to the dashboard, and then when someone clicks on an element in the dashboard that belongs to a report, it'll bring you back to the report. So it's a way to dive into more detail from the report directly. And as you can see, similar to the notion of sheets in Excel, you can actually have multiple sheets in your report as well to group things according to some area of interest. So here we have vehicle density, real-time data, aggressively driven vehicles, recalled vehicles, fuel efficient, and then we have a logo field to keep our logo in. But you can do each of these things and pin them together in order to make the drill down capabilities that you'd want your users to have. Reports are the one that can be shared on the web. So if you take this sort of report and want to share it, this is what you can actually share outbound from Power BI and make it available from your Power BI instance. Dashboards cannot be shared the same way. Individual visualizations, you can actually go over to your Azure portal, and there's a way to create collections of your visualizations and you can actually choose to share those as well so that they can be embedded directly into applications. And the reason for this is Power BI is typically subscription driven. So within your organization, it's easy enough. Your organization, all your users have a license similar to Office 365. Each of them can look at the visualizations, and it all comes under that umbrella. For externally sharing it in an application that's going to go outside, this provides the mechanism to be able to monitor how much usage it's getting, how much do the insights for it, and then also be able to see how much it's costing to share that outbound, right? So that's the mechanism you can use. If, however, you build your Power BI dashboard and it is for your internal users to use, you can actually use the Windows Phone, Android phone, and iOS versions and actually see the same dashboard directly on those displays as well. So it is cross-platform for devices, and obviously as a web browser, you can use it in multiple. In here, this little drop-down gives you a few different types of downloads. There's Power BI Desktop for Windows that actually does a deeper integration. Not only it gives you some nicer tools because it's a desktop application versus a web application, but it actually also gives you the ability to build out your reports and everything, publish them. But the one major difference there is also connecting to internal data sources as well from that, and being able to have that connection, being able to look at that data and set that up. In addition, when you have Power BI Desktop installed, since you're registered and logged in on your device, your Windows 10 machine, when you use Cortana and you ask for something similar to how I typed it in here, show me the average miles per gallon or average speed of cars by city, Cortana has registered a Power BI component and knows how to query Power BI directly and return that result within the Cortana results. And when you click that through, it'll actually bring you back into Power BI. So there's a deeper integration available there because your data model is understood. And I'll show you what I mean by the data model. In addition, there's this Power BI gateway, and that's what I was talking about earlier, similar to what you have for Data Factory, the ability to have a gateway on-premise that allows you to get at the data that you have from Power BI in the cloud. Okay? And again, that's restricted. Power BI is restricted to your domain and your subscription by default. So, and you can set up the rights that your users cannot publish things externally. So you may not want your sales data published externally. So you can actually restrict that sort of thing as well so that the data can't be shared. All right, so let's go from here into editing a report. And we're in the report. Edit here. We'll start seeing some options and things. So if you click on one of the visualizations, what you get along here is the ability to customize the visualization. You have a palette of visualizations that you can select from that are available by default. In addition to that, you can set up your axes, whether or not you want to display legends. Do you need page level filtering? So do I want to create a filter by the model of the car? If I do, I can pick from my data sets that are available here, for instance, model, drag that over here, and now I have a page level filter that would allow me to filter everything on that page, all the data that's shown there by this filter. And that becomes available in the report. So if I were to save this now, and then go back to the report itself, so now at the page level, I have these filters available where I can select the model and filter across all of this. So you can see all the visualizations update in order to filter it. So this is another quick way to give your users some ways to filter across the, and you have page level filters and you have report level filters. So page level filters will only take place in this particular page, and full report level ones would take place across all the tabs available there. So far, everyone okay with that? All right, so if we go from here, Let's go look how we would bring in one of our own data sets and actually start to play with the data. So we can go here, get data. If you have data that's been published in your organization, that can be made available as packs of data that are available internally. If there are online services, Salesforce, for instance, or something like that that you're using, you can actually have connectors for that available as well. You can connect to your SQL databases and other databases, Oracle. I think Teradata might be there as well. But there's a variety of databases that you can connect to. You put in the connection information. We'll go retrieve the data from there based on your query. And then finally, you have the ability to bring in files, which is what I'll use here. So I've already imported some data. I brought in some miles per gallon data and some automobile price data and some census data. So I brought those in already, and we can take a look back at that. So down at the bottom of my set of data, I brought in these different data sets. So we'll start with this automobile price data. It has a variety of things in it. So how do you start? What do you do? Well, you pretty much start by picking what type of visualization you want or what data you want to look at. So if I wanted to look at, let's just say, the types of cars that there are, maybe the body style of the cars, and I wanted to know the miles per gallon, I now have a visualization for that. I also want to do, I don't know, I want to know what the price is, and I want to use the price really to color what the average price is for the cars. And if you look here, this one is really doing count of price and distinct, how many fall into those categories. So that's not really what I wanted. Same thing for the miles a gallon, it's doing a sum. Well, it doesn't make sense that I'm getting 2,500 miles per gallon for sedans. Really what I was looking for was the average for the miles per gallon for that. So you can very quickly start customizing what's being displayed, get the aggregations that you want or standard deviations, and start seeing that. If you want to go a little bit further into it, you can do customizations about the actual, so grabbing the visualization again, what's going to appear in the legend? What colors am I going to use for this particular visualization? How do I want the axes to appear? Where does it go? What color is that particular axis? For my data set itself, what sort of colors do I want to do? If I want to change the set of colors, I can start doing that as well by specifically the categories that are in the data. For each of the categories, you could change the coloring, etc. You can, at any point say that this isn't the visualization that I wanted. I really wanted something more like this to see it over time. I can add another visualization to this report. Grab this one, and maybe what I want to do here is take a look at the number of cylinders the cars have. And I want that to be the value that I'm going to use. And so here it is divided by the count and the number of cylinders each of the cars has. And let's make sure that really is by counts. And this is the averages. And so now when I'm using this, if I select a particular value within the other visualization, each of the other ones changes based on my selection. So I'm getting interactive visualizations right away without having to do any sort of linking because they're coming from the same data sets. The linkage is already available there. Okay? So the model is available to this and allows me to immediately start working with it. I can also look here under the visual interactions and say, you know what? I don't want this to be part of the interactions. I want this to stay as it is so that when I make selections here, that one doesn't change. Okay? Or I can go back here and say from the visual interactions, no, you know what? I do really want this to be part of that. So link them up again. So that gives you a little bit of the linkage between each of these visualizations and the filtering capability. Now, one of the other things you can do is there's an entire gallery of visualizations available within Power BI as well. And let's see if we can go to the, so if we go to powerbi.com, we can actually sign in here. And down here, you can see what are all the connectors, what's possible, and then how to sign up for free. And there's also a gallery available here. But what I did was I downloaded one of the visualizations that we've created at Microsoft, and that's called Sandance. So what happens is you go to the gallery, you download one of the visualizations, and then you have to enable it for your particular dashboard. So in this case, I'm going to say, yes, I do want to import a visualization, and the visualization I've downloaded is called Sandance. Okay. So Sandance, it actually imports the module, which is a set of code associated with that, and then adds it to the palette here. So now I can actually take Sandance and bring it in to my into my dashboard, bring it in as if it were any other visualization. And for this one, I actually want to enable a large number of these. Fuel type, let's do highway and horsepower and make and price, number of doors, number of cylinders. All right, that's pretty good. All right, and Sandance needs plenty of space. So let's remove this one, cancel. All right, so Sandance is fairly interactive. So this is an example of something you could do yourself. You can pick what type of visualization you want. Sandance is a pixel-oriented visualization, so every data point in the data is shown. So this is a relatively small data set. The demo that they did at Build involves a much larger data set, so it looks pretty cool. But it allows you to very quickly do some faceting. So let's say I wanted to facet it by body style. I'll divide up the data according to that, color it by, let's say, the number of cylinders, and then I can further sort it as well. But it allows you to sort of very interactively look at things, select specific areas. I could say, pick this, or I could say, oh no, you know what, I want to change that to be price that I want to color it by. And then instead of body style, I want to use, I don't know, the engine size. So it'll bin it as well, and you get the opportunity to change how big your bins are as well, and it'll keep readjusting the data. So you have the ability to both create ones for your own internal use, custom visualizations, but there is actually a community, a gallery of these visualizations also available that you can publish to and share visualizations with others. So Microsoft continues to add things to the gallery, and often when we add them to the gallery, we often include GitHub code as well, so people can see how we go about creating these. And the same thing is something you can do. In Visual Studio, we offer an SDK as well for this that actually allows you to adjust and build the visualization, and we give you the wrapper around that that shows you how to access our internal data store that we use in order to actually have the data buffered in order to make it interactive like this. Thank you. Microsoft's Machine Learning Gallery, or the Cortana Intelligence Suite Gallery, really provides a variety of things at this point. We provide solution templates so that someone can deploy a full, complete end-to-end solution and take it apart, see how all the pieces go together, and really understand the flow. We provide them with a technical guide. We provide them with a playbook so they understand how to do the machine learning, how to gather the right data in order to do the machine learning. And then finally, we show them how to present that data in Power BI as well. Then we provide many examples of machine learning algorithms being applied to specific problems. And when we apply it, we provide a little bit of background about the data that's being used. We provide machine learning actual experiments that people can use and execute and copy. It includes our code, or it may use some of our own algorithms, but we show people how we adjust the parameters. What are we doing in order to understand the data?